This video, I'm going to discuss and explain what I have learned in the Module 1. First, I'm going to explain the concept of self-discipline. What is self-discipline? Self-discipline is the ability to push yourself forward to stay motivated and take action regardless of how you're feeling physically or emotionally. Self-discipline is the different from self-motivation or willpower to motivation, and willpower contribute to it as do persistent, the ability to follow through on your intention and hard work. Why work on your self-discipline? Self-discipline is the ability to stick with and achieve the goals that you've set for yourself. It can also improve learning and enhance performance. According to researchers, students with strong self-discipline are more careful in their tasks, which is improves their performance. How to develop self-discipline? 1. Choose a goal. By, by choosing one goal that you want to focus to develop your self-discipline. As your self-discipline gets stronger, you can spread the focus to more areas of your life. Remember, starting small is the best way to start developing a strong sense of self-control. Number 2. Find your motivation. Once you choose a goal, list the reason why you want to achieve it. Try to express this reason in a positive way. Number 3. Identify the obstacle. Now you need to identify the obstacle that you'll likely face as you work toward the goal, and devise a strategy for overcoming each of them. Imagine that your goal is to read one leadership book a week to enhance your skill. Number 4. Replace old habits. When we're developing self-discipline, we're often trying to break a bad habit and replace it with something more productive. However, if that habit is tied into a certain time of the day or routine, breaking it can leave a hole. If we don't replace the habit and with something else, then its absence becomes even more noticeable. 5. Monitor your progress. You might feel free, happy, proud, and energized as you work on improving your self-discipline. Over time, your self-discipline will strengthen and you'll be able to apply it to lots of other areas of your life. Think about keeping a journal to keep track your goals and track your progress. Next, we are going to discuss the types of discipline. There are so many types of discipline you need to know. Firstly, I want you to know first what classroom discipline or school discipline is all about. Classroom discipline is very important for effective teaching and learning, yet it constitutes one of the biggest teacher challenges nowadays. But what is discipline in the classroom? The term discipline refers to the strategies of a teacher uses to manage student behavior during lessons, as well as the code of behavior that the student must comply with. The term may also be applied to the punishment that is the consequence of the transgression of the code. There are three types of discipline, according to school. 1. Preventative discipline. It's about establishing expectation guidelines and classroom rules for behavior during the first day of lesson in order to proactively prevent disruption. 2. Supportive discipline. On the other hand, occurs the case of a transgression. It is usually of a verbal warning or suggestion for the correction of behavior. Number 3. Corrective discipline comes into play when a student has failed to change his or her behavior after repeated attempts at supportive discipline. It mostly refers to the consequence delivered following an infraction. Now you know the types of discipline according to class or school. Let's talk about discipline problems. What causes discipline problems in the classroom? Teachers need to be sensitive and compassionate when dealing with discipline problems in the classroom. Some common causes of discipline issues in the class include problems at home. If a student experiencing an emotionally turbulent time at home and learning disabilities, which can cause a lack of focus. There are two categories of disruptive behaviors in the class. This is minor and major. The minor disruption include unintended hurtful words that working on tasks and lateness. While they require a warning from teacher, they can be easily ignored and do not seriously disrupt teaching or learning. And a major discipline, on the other hand, go beyond rudeness and include profane languages directed towards other, sexual words, and physical trends, vandalism, and stealing. In the previous explanation part, we learned the three types of discipline in the class or school. The three types of discipline. There are many ways that we can implement self-discipline practices every day. Here are the three types of self-discipline, like active discipline, reactive discipline, and proactive discipline. Number one, active discipline, like doing what you need to in that every moment, such as eating a healthy meal, limiting your distraction while studying and exercising. You were actively disciplined when you chose to eat healthy instead of unhealthy. You were disciplined when you took the time to study and etc. Number 2. Reactive discipline is controlling your thoughts or behavior when dealing with unforeseen situations, like getting a flat tire on your way to work, dealing with a rude person, and locking your keys in your car. Instead of complaining, you use this situation as opportunities to learn. When you got the flat tire, you got the tire fixed. In the moment, you choose to be grateful that it was just a flat tire and no one was hurt. It's okay to mistake happen. You realize the importance of forgiving yourself and moving on. You know that this is just one minor setback during your full 24-hour day. Number 3. Proactive discipline is doing things in advance in an effort to better control a situation, like bringing an umbrella or rain on a rainy day, creating a to-do list, and going to bedtime. Self-discipline is no easy feat because you are constantly faced with issues that seem to occur at the most bothersome time. We have to control over what can happen, but we need to do control over how we react what happens. Admittedly, it hard to commit to self-discipline every day. We also have access and opportunity to practice techniques enable us to exercise self-discipline and reach our vision. But lastly, we are going to explain the stages of discipline. In order for you to understand the stages of disciplinary, try to feel like an employee in the company, and let's take a look at what progressive discipline means and what the common stages are. When Rob warmly said, progressive discipline is the process where you increase the level of severity in your discipline. When an employee fails to correct an issue, the disciplinary steps get progressively more intense based on both the severity of infraction and the repeated infraction. Stage 1. Verbal or writing warning. The most lenient form of discipline most employer use is a warning. A written warning documents the incident and carries more weight. Particularly, it is goes into a personal file. Some companies use escalation in warnings, for example, verbal, written, second written, and final. Stage 2. Probation. After warnings haven't had an effect, employers employers often place employees on some form of probation. In the simplest form, This can almost be seen as another type of final warning. Some employers attach punishment to the probation as well, such as reduction in the pay or mandatory retraining. Stage 3. Suspension. A suspension is a temporary removal of an employee from their job. This could be with or without pay, but obviously send a much stronger message if it's unpaid. The difference between suspension and termination is that each assume that the employee will return to work after his or her suspension period has ended. Stage 4. Termination. This is the last resort. Sometimes disciplinary matters become so unworkable that it's the best for employee and employer to part ways. Knowing that disciplinary tools are available can make it easier to discipline an employee. Employers are generally as averse to employee discipline as employees are themselves. Consult with an HR professional or employment law attorney before taking an action that could give rise liability now or in the future.